What's going on, everyone? A non-TCG here. We just finished our first TCG player sale. It was a treasure trove. It kicked off this morning at 9 a.m. We sold Surging Sparks boxes for $179.99. And I've seen a couple YouTube videos with people saying, "What's wrong with you guys? They're selling for 210 like crazy, and this and that, and you guys must need cash and be bankrupt." That's a Timmy mentality. So I work in the finance space, and I've spent a lot of time around family offices in the private equity world. And yeah, I grew up not a lot of money, two working parents. So one of the first lessons I learned is the way that wealthy people think is, first of all, they generally put their money where they know what the outcome is going to be. So, there's a lot of people on YouTube and TCGs, crypto millionaires, right? Crypto is a total crapshoot. Quite honestly, it's not real. The government at any point in time can make it illegal, lock it down, etc. In fact, that's the reason why Bitcoin went from 70 to 100 when Trump was elected, because one candidate was pro-regulation and one was anti. But wealthy people don't take unnecessary risk. And, I talk to some of these folks about different business opportunities. In the private equity world, you're buying businesses, you're taking business ideas, seeding them. And one concept that didn't seem to resonate was, well, if we risk $5 million, we can make $15 million. And the odds of that $15 million outcome aren't super high. And the response every single time was, well, I understand that. I accept that as reality. But what are the odds that I lose my $5 million? I would rather keep my $5 million and do nothing than take a 1% risk to not 2x or 3x my money. And that was something that was really eye-opening, because, it's a different mentality than what most folks have. And it kind of opened my eyes to the Timmy mentality here in TCGs, where it's like, it's the next dollar and this and that, which leads me to the Surging Spark sale. We acquired a large number of boxes from distribution. We've been in the Pokemon game at volume for a little bit now, really before volume started kicking up and demand started kicking up. And we felt that we could link boxes out, 1, 2, 10, 20 at a time. And, maybe we can sell them for $210 with a full, 14% plus $10 shipping. So $86, $186 bucks. And that could take 2 months, 3 months, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Or we could take a little bit less. We'll call it $10, $20, whatever the math ends up being. And we can put all of our boxes here and we can sell them. 10%, 15% below market. But we can have a liquidity event almost instantaneously. And I know that kind of short circuits the Timmy mindset. But if I'm going to make 80, 90% on a product, on a trade, that is an absolute guarantee. And quite honestly, I didn't think we'd sell through all the boxes in an hour and 15 minutes or whatever it was. You could see here that 905 boxes sold today. Banana Stand had 300. So, you can kind of see we were between 500 and 600 boxes. I'm not going to give you the exact number, but you can back into the math. It's an absolute sure thing to net 180 gross, obviously. Have to pay shipping, have to pay the TCG player fees. But what I don't have to do is I don't have to pay to attract people to a website that we're working on. It's functional, but very few people know it's there. And I don't have to take the risk. And I have opportunity cost. We, on my This Week in Distro, this is Magazine Exchange. And, we're set up with all 6 distributors. I can try to make the next $10 on Surging Sparks a product that's absolutely on fire, or I can buy Paradox Rift for $98. Now, what's more likely? Long term, short term, from a risk perspective, I know Paradox Rift is going to be worth $120. In fact, it's probably selling for that now. Let's check real quick, just so everybody has the data point live. That's Paldean Fates. And I understand Midwest has a bunch of boxes. There's a bunch of boxes here. Or, I'm sorry, Midwest was Paldean. So 120 bucks. So I can effectively liquidate Surging Sparks and immediately buy Paradox Rift for somewhere in the 90s. Now, I'm not going to allocate the full amount because we have prismatic evolutions coming, albeit, not as much as we want. And we have this 151 bundle. And then right behind it, we're going to have the team up set. So it creates a massive liquidity event, which gives us nothing but flexibility, and it locks in our 80 to 90% gain. And I can roll those funds into Paradox Rift, which at 98 bucks, I'm probably net $10. So call it 11, 12, 13% gain immediately. For 11, 12% on a $200 box, I need another $20 to get there versus just taking the arbitrage, and you effectively get it for nothing. Now, granted, if I wanted to liquidate tomorrow, I'd be up slightly. And again, I would have the same issue getting volume out the door. But let me let you guys in on a little bit of a pro tip. I sort of kind of trust what I hear from distributors, and this is just people in general. Distributors have no real reason to lie to me unless, they're talking about something almost going out of stock and trying to create FOMO. In this case, that's certainly not the instance or not the case. But I don't trust what I don't hear. And what I mean by that, for the longest time, distributions like we've heard nothing about Twilight Masquerade. We've heard nothing about Paradox Rift or Obsidian or Paldea, and there's no reprints coming, and the printing presses are blah, 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 blah. Well, the problem is very few people at distribution, certainly the people out pounding the pavement, selling, taking orders, don't want to speak negatively to the reps, but they're not in the know, generally speaking. So the fact that they haven't heard anything doesn't mean fuck all. So we've heard rumors that Surging Sparks at the year list is going to be February. And I tend to believe that's probably true. But I don't know for certain. They could drop 50 pallets, 100 pallets, middle of December going into Christmas, and nobody would know. We'd get completely blindsided. And the box price goes to $140, $150. In addition, so does the opportunity to have a massive liquidity event like we just had today. In addition, my ability to get Paradox Rift boxes in the 90s is going to end after this week. All of distribution is going to sell out most likely. Or the price is going to go up. The same with Stellar Crown. The same with Paldea. SV Base, Obsidian Flames, not a fan of. I'm sure they'll do fine, but not a fan of them. So I don't have to risk being blindsided by a reprint. And again, I'm all for reprints. I don't really care. But it's a mix of risk versus liquidity versus opportunity cost. So I don't have to worry about the risk of a reprint. And again, I tend to think Surging Sparks is going to continue to go up. I still have skin in the game because I have 65 sleeve booster cases of Surging Sparks, just waiting for it to dry up, and I'll sell it to breakers, streamers. So if you're looking for cases cheap, feel free. Reach out, send me a message, sales@anontcg.com. And I don't have to worry about the FOMO or the bubble. If it's a bubble, I don't think it's a bubble. I think it's all organic and it's a really good product. But I don't have to worry about that. In addition, I can buy cheap product that is effectively at the floor. And what I know is that it's going to go up. Paradox Rift, it's almost a 25% gain before fees right now. Like literally just calling the rep and saying, hey, I'll do this and sending a wire tomorrow. It's that simple. And Pokemon hasn't been like this for a long, long time. So it's a different mindset. And a lot of folks are into, well, we finally have a win, yada, yada, yada. We do. Take the W, move on to something that's less like, because A, a rising tide lifts all boats. B, Paradox Rift, I think, was relatively small print run. Stellar Crown of Love. Stellar Crown, in my view, is a sleeper because it is the least likely set to get a reprint anytime soon. There's still some product out there. Now, we just cleaned out one distributor today, but there wasn't a whole lot there. So that's why we did what we did. It's not because we have a Timmy mentality. It's not because, oh my God, we need cash, we're bankrupt. We have a brick and mortar location. It's self-sufficient. This part of the business is gravy. We did it because it was the smart, intelligent, and educated thing to do. And there is a much better opportunity, and by better I mean, I think more substantial, but also more certain, to roll the funds from an absolute home run with Surging Sparks into something like Paldea, Paradox, and Stellar. And that's it. And look, I think the sooner that everybody thinks that way, the better off people are going to be in this space buying boxes. Because at the end of the day, opening the boxes is a little bit of a fool's errand. Investing in singles, grading singles, yeah, it's it's a living. But moving sealed product, you're basically moving a commodity that historically has slowly accreted over time. So you take something that's moved very fast, very quickly, you sell it off, you create liquidity, and you buy something that's lagging, no different than the stock market. Sell the winners, double down on the losers. So anyway, just figured we'd have a little bit of a finance video here and the thought process behind why we did what we did. So, now we can take the account when all the funds clear. We can go to the distributors and say, who wants it? I know nobody's hurting for customers right now. But I think most of the distributors are smart enough to realize that there's ebb and flow here. There's going to be a slow time where they're going to want customers, they're going to need customers, and they're going to want some loyalty. So, hopefully the reps see value in that. But in the meantime, we're happy to buy the product at a cheap price and continue doing what we're doing. So anyway, a little bit of a longer video, but like, subscribe. Oh, by the way, the same day we had this massive liquidity event, we did cross 1,000 subscribers. So thank you for everybody. Here's looking forward to the next 1,000, and hopefully this is a little educational. So, all right, guys, again, like, subscribe, join the Discord. Later.